Hey everyone, it's Bobby. I am here with another completed project for you. This is I guess a Quadfolio. It does have 4 sections to it. This is the same basic layout that Tammy used for her Saucy Folio, and she got the layout from somebody else, but I'm not going to try to pronounce the lady's name because I'll probably butcher it. But this is paper called Here Comes Santa, and it's an Echo Park collection. It was a part of one of the winter boxes that Tammy had, that she had done in collaboration with Echo Park. It's just really, really pretty paper. I've used all design paper on the outside. These are from the chipboard elements, and I just glued them on. I did put a little red artisan behind the word Christmas just so that it would stand out because it blended in too much. And it's just plain on the side and the back. And it opens like this with a magnet. Now my idea for this album is countdown to Christmas, starting with 25 days till Christmas, 24 days till Christmas, and so on throughout the book. But rather than place all the photo mats everywhere, I do have some in it, but I thought I would leave these 2 blank because she might take 2 pictures, she might take 3 or 4. So however she wants to place them, then she can add the gold numbers wherever she needs them, like 25 up here and 24 over here, and so on. So I'm going to let her place those throughout the book. So when you open the first panel, we have a pocket down here at the bottom. Let me make sure I'm in frame. I want to make sure you can see it all. Okay. We have a pocket at the bottom, and I have a small insert in there. This is from the cut-aparts, or the ephemera. These are chipboard elements. The flap lifts up, and you have room for 3 photos under here, or photos in journaling, one of the chipboard shapes, and just a little die that I used. And I left this plain so that she could get another photo there. This little folder just folds out for several pictures. Did it all in the red and green. Panel 2 has a folder, room in here for photos, 2 more of the chipboard elements, and when you flip it over you have room for 2 photos, and this is loose so that you can get your photos up under it. This is a nice area for more photos, and this is a pocket, and I left these plain so that she could put photos on the front and the back. And these are let me see, I forget the measurements of them. They are 8 3/8 by 5 3/4. So that's a lot of photo room. And there's 3 of these large ones in here. And there's just a small amount of overhang, just helps you get a hold of them. Okay, here's where I have the photo mats. I thought this page was so pretty. So I have all of these. She can either journal or add more photo mats. I'm going to include a lot of pre-cut photo mats so that she can put them wherever she needs them. These little flags are loose so that she can put a photo under them if she wants to. And these are 2 small little photo areas. Another one here. And then on the back side, she can leave them plain just to enjoy the cut-aparts, or she can journal a little bit, and I'm going to include a white gel pen with it. Here's another large area for photos, and more numbers. Another large photo mat. Then on the back side, we have a large area for photos. We have a little tuck spot here. And I just backed each of these with cardstock so that she could add photos or journal on them. So let's put those back. We can close up that section. Make sure I'm still in frame. Okay, we're on section 3. We have a photo mat and a journaling spot with 2 of the puffy stickers. 2 photo mats here, and this is loose as well. Another large area for a photo. Then this one is all in the craft in the red, and I love this layout. And when you open it, it continues all the way across. 3 more here, and 4 more over here. Do I need to move it some more? Yes, I need to move it some more. There you can see it. So we will close this, and this, and this. I'll scoot it over as far as I can. And then on this side, we have a little pocket. Have a photo mat here. That's your stopper that holds that closed. It opens up and you have room for photos here. Same paper is down on the bottom. And then we have another folder. Opens out like this and like this. And then there's the back. And that is it. Turned out really cute. I'm really happy with it. And whoever she might be that gets this, I think will absolutely love it. So that's what I created with the Echo Park Winter Box from Country Craft Creations. I hope y'all enjoy it, and leave me a comment. I love hearing what y'all think. Thanks a lot for watching, and there will be a tutorial following this walkthrough. Okay, we are starting the Countdown to Christmas Quadfolio, and I have gotten several messages from people saying, I don't know how you wrapped it. Can you please show me how to wrap it? Well, I have to direct them back to an old video I have where I showed how to wrap one, but that's kind of a lot of trouble to go to, so I thought, well, I will go ahead and wrap one piece of the base folio and one of the spines with you, and then you can do the rest of them on your own, and then we'll get back to, I'll pause the camera while I finish wrapping them. It saves a lot of time on the video and editing and uploading when I don't have all that to do. But once I show you how to do a base piece, all of the bases are done the same, and I will show you one spine, and all the spines are done the same. So that should help. So we have 2 1-inch pieces of chipboard here. I think that one's 1 inch. Yes, it is. It looks narrower than this one. Let me see. It is a little bit narrower. Let's see what this is. That one's closer. I don't know what that's from. That must be a scrap from something else. So we're going to put a 1-inch strip here and here, because we cut our cardstock 2 inches taller and wider so that we have 1 inch all the way around to wrap it. And then we'll take this piece and slide it in here and stick it down, and then we'll wrap it. So I have put a score tape sheet. It wasn't quite long enough, so I just put a 1/4 inch piece at the bottom, and we'll take this score tape sheet off. Whoops. I need more fingernails is what I need. Mine break and chip so bad. I had a little tool to take these off, but it was my grandson's and he took it back. I need to go to that tool place. I forget the name of it. But it's got a little screwdriver type thing, but instead of a screwdriver on the end, it has a little hook, and it really makes it easy to get these off. Okay, so we're going to slide this right into that point and lay this down. Now it's perfect to wrap. And we will just roll the edges. Let me get rid of these pieces, they bug me. Actually, I missed a step. Let me show you. My fault. I like to go around the edges with a bone folder just to break down the fibers, and it helps you get a nicer fold when you actually stick it down. Okay, now we'll roll it. And Grease all of these real good. This way you won't have to go search for another video. I thought that might be helpful, because there's always going to be someone that this is new to, so this should help. I like to go along the edges. Just make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, then we'll take our 1/2-inch score tape, and, well, here I've got one that I just did a while ago. Let's go to that one. I go just beyond that fold line with my score tape and put it all the way around on the edges, because we're going to cut out these. And you'll see where your fold lines intersect. Just take your scissors, and if you put the score tape down first, it eliminates you have to trim it up later. So just cut out your corners. I don't like to get too close because I can always take more out, but if I go too close I can't put it back. So we'll take out all 4 corners and go glue them out. Okay, corners are out. Now we're going to fold this in and see how it's kind of curved right there. All you have to do is lay your scissors right up against the edge and just pivot it just a little bit and trim that off. And you can always go back and take more if you need to. Now see that one? That's because I left extra. So I'm going to trim that off, and we'll go around and do the other side. This one looks pretty good. Straighten up the corner. Now we'll do the long sides. That one looks pretty good. This one's got some extra. Cut into your other piece, so just use that as your guideline. Okay. Get rid of my trash here. Now I know a lot of people I see put more score tape in here, but I don't. I don't feel there's a need for it, but you certainly can if you want to. But I just take my score tape backing off and I run a little of my art glitter glue down here to make sure I get a good seal. And then use your bone folder to push it up against it. And roll it right to the inside. And I got carried away with the glue. Let me see. I don't think I got a dry baby wipe. I forgot to get more out. Get a couple out and let them dry out. Get a piece of paper towel to kind of dab that up. I forgot to take any baby wipes out last night. And see, that's going to have a little bubble right there, so I want to trim it a little bit more. There. Okay, let's go around to this side. Do the same thing. And I'll try not to get so carried away with the glue this time. There, I did better. Okay. Let's see, a little nub of paper. See that little piece right there? You don't want that in there. Okay. I'm going to take our strip off. Should have a perfect corner there. That looks good. Let's do the last side. Okay, there's one panel. Oh, I got glue. And look how nice those corners are. Perfect every time. Okay, so there's that. Now for the spine. On the spines we use 1.5 inches on the sides. So, yeah, that's 1.5 inches. And 1 inch on the top. And we'll attach this down. I use some of my scraps of my score tape whenever I can on some of the smaller pieces. And we'll put that into place. Okay, we'll take these out. Okay, let's go around it again. Fold these under. And our score tape goes just on these two ends. There it is. It's not necessary to go all the way to the end if you don't want to, because we're going to cut a lot of that away. Okay, we're going to pull this off. Add our glue. And roll this up on it. And burnish it really well and get up against that chipboard spine piece. So you have a really nice edge. Okay. We're going to do it again right here. A little too much glue. Now we'll roll the long sides. Make sure I've got a nice edge there. So we'll roll those and burnish them really good. And this other side. Now we want to go the opposite direction, just so that when you put your album together, everything will lay nice and flat. And we'll go this one. I like to turn it over and just kind of reinforce this all the way down so it looks nice and smooth on the outside. Don't want any dimples in there. Okay, now we're going to cut these off just past that where we glued it down. Now I leave just a tiny bit on the edge there, and if you find that it's too much, just cut some more away when you get ready to put it together. So I don't want a hole up there where those two meet. Okay, that is your spine piece. Now I will finish wrapping all the others. I'm going to pause the camera, and as soon as I get the rest of mine wrapped, and you get yours wrapped, then we'll put all the pieces together. Okay? I'll be right back. Okay, y'all ready to put this together? Alright, let's take our 1 1/4 inch spine. That's going to be the center of the back. And then we're going to take our two pieces that are 7 1/4 by 8 7/8, and we're going to attach glue here to the flange part, and then we're going to lay this right over it, right up to the score line. So let's do that. And I do not have the fine tip on there because I want to make sure I get a liberal amount of glue out here. I don't want to go all the way to the score line with my glue because I don't want it to ooze out there and look nasty. But I want enough that it's going to stay where I want it to stay. So if you want to, use the edge of your scoreboard to make sure your pieces are straight. Put it right up to, I can get a little bit closer. That looks pretty good. I'm going to burnish it down. And turn it over. Now if you see that you've got a little bit of excess there, just take your bone folder and push it down so that it lines up perfectly. Just kind of straighten it out. Let me see what that looks like. See, this could actually go over just a hair. And that makes a really nice edge. I like that. Okay, we're going to keep it. It's a keeper, as they say. Alright, now let's turn it this way. And we're going to do the same thing to the opposite side. That should make the center of our back. Yeah. There we go. Now the next thing we want is our 2 1/2-inch pieces. Got to move this down so it's not in the way of my tripod. Now these to me appear, I thought at first they were going to be a little bit short, and they may be just a hair short, but you know, sometimes they look like that, and once you put them together and you stand them up, they're perfect. So I don't know, I can't figure it out. Tammy said hers do the same thing. But I know I cut them all 8 7/8, so they can't be off. And I cut them with my new dowel. I really like that cutter. Okay, let's lift this just a hair. Whoops. Slide it up under there. And slide it right up to the score. See, it appears to be short. Just kind of evenly distribute it between the top and the bottom if it appears to be a little bit short, because I can almost promise you it's going to come out just fine. Now when Tammy and I think the lady who originally designed it, and I think her name is Chibi or something like that, anyway, they both made it in the one continuous wrap like we used to do way back. And I decided I wanted to do mine in separate pieces the way we have been wrapping our albums lately. So I'm hoping it's all going to pan out. I used the same measurements they used. Now we'll get our other 1/2-inch here. And add some glue to it. I don't want to move it, I just want to lift it a little bit. There we go. One might be under a little. There it is. I just want to be able to feel the edge with my thumbnail. And then I know it's in the right place. Okay, let me burnish that on the back side. And then we need our 2 front pieces. Slide this up underneath my tripod. There we go. So we need glue now on this flange. And we got one more piece to attach. going to turn it over this way. Got to make room for the length of this thing. Okay. Last piece. Okay, let me scoot it down a little bit more. Okay, we're going to put this last piece on here. Oops. Here we go. Okay. Should go like that. And it should go like this. There we go. It's going to be your album cover. Just like that. Yeah, it worked out just fine. Okay. I'm going to let this glue set up a little bit before I do anything to it. I want to make sure it's cured good so nothing starts coming apart, but so far I'm loving it. I do need to cut. Now this is 8 7/8, so probably 8 5/8 in height. Let me get a ruler. Oh, they're right here. For these 1/2 inch pieces, I'm going to cut probably 2.5 by 8 5/8, and this one I will cut 3.5 by 8 5/8, so we can get all of that out of one sheet. And then we'll just glue these down here, and I will use score tape sheet for that, but I'll be back shortly. Okay, let's put our pieces down on the inside. Now I'll show you how nicely it looks. Once it's filled up, these will stay in the center. I considered putting a magnet in there, but I don't really think I need it. So it's going to have enough pages and what have you in here that that's going to stay put. But I did place my magnets, and you can see there's 3 right here and 3 right here. Now what I did was I placed the first 3 down, and then I closed it, and I laid these upside down with the tape sticky side up and put the magnet on top so that it matched, and then I closed it and attached the 3. So that makes it a nice clean. If I had put these 3 out here, it's easier to make a match, but it also gives you more of a thickness in here, and it makes a larger gap, and I didn't want that. So that's why I put these 3 on the underside. So let's put our pieces with the score tape down to cover our spines. And I cut those just like I told you, only I made them 8 3/4, not 8 5/8. 8 3/4 by 3.5, and this one's going to go right there. 8 5/8 was going to be too short after I measured it. I thought, nah, I don't like that. So we just need enough. And make sure you don't have any goop hanging over the top and the bottom. If you have something showing here, which I do, it's not that big of a deal because we're going to have design paper covering it anyway. But you definitely don't want any at the top or the bottom. and just space them out here like that. And then we've got one for over here. I wanted to try to get all three of them out of one sheet of score tape, and I almost did. It was short just this little bit, so I put a piece of 1/4 inch down there, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue in that gap. Just a little bit, so we get a good coverage. Whoops. And we're going to put that one over 1½ inches. Oops, I see a little score tape shine in there. There's none there. Okay, that should be okay. When you start to lay it down, if there's any showing, you'll see it shining. And you want to get rid of it before you stick it down. Okay. There's that one. And we'll come back and burnish these and match up our score lines there. And here's the third one. Oh, come on. Okay. Now I'm not going to go over the magnets. I'm going to go right up to it. Oh, there's some score tape right there. Sticky stuff. Right to the magnets. Okay. Now we want to match up our folds here. These match up. Fold this one forward. And just bring it up slowly. Bring it down forward. Match it up. Make sure it lays straight. Okay. This one. You have to turn it around to get the other side. Just keep working that score line. careful, I'm telling you, it wants to slide everywhere. Okay, there's that one. Okay. There's that one. Now let's work these two. Just bring it up slowly. I'm going to turn it around to the other side. I know it's hard for you to see what I'm doing. Sometimes you just have to coax them a little bit, just run it back and forth in that seam. There is our book. Nice. I really like that. Okay, so our next step now will be to cut our pages. So I'm going to lay this aside, get some pieces ready, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're ready to start putting our pages together, or at least laying down the base of the pages. On the first panel, I have a piece that is 5 3/4 by 6, and I'm going to place it up here at the top. I know on the original she had a double pocket here, and I wanted mine to be a little bit different. You know how we are, we all have to make it our own. So I was going to give this a gusset, and I've changed my mind because our spine is only a 1/2 inch. I didn't want to get too bulky with the embellishments, so oops. And I am just going to ballpark this, kind of center as best I can, and take it right up to the top. Here's my wipes. I'm going to make sure it's not hanging over. Okay, that's what I want. And then down at the bottom we will have just a single pocket. And the kids have been in here crafting last night, and there's my scissors. My grandson was helping his girlfriend make something, and they don't put things back where they get them. I say that quietly because they're in the other room, and I don't mean to offend them, but I'd like it put back where it belongs so I know where to find it. And they just don't work that way. It's kids for you. So we've mitered out these corners, trimmed off the top just a little bit. And then I'm going to burnish them. Place this down here, right even with this piece, and then we'll have a stopper in there, and I'll do some trim work around it to dress it up a little bit. Oh, let me turn this a little bit more. It's got an overlap on it, and I don't like the overlap there because it gives too much bulk. That one's okay. Oops, my glue's running over. It does that sometimes in the humidity. Just have to keep the cap on it. I had a wet wipe out here somewhere. There it is. Get it off my nozzle and my fingers. Lay that down a second. Okay. Let me just get this little turkey in place before it dries up. And we're going to put this down towards the bottom. Just like that.
Where's your card?
It's on the bed.
Okay, do you mind if I get a Venom on there?
It's okay. I'm recording though.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Donnie.
Yes, ma'am?
Hold on, guys.
Huh?
Okay, sorry about that. He was going to the store to run some errands for me, and I had to add a couple things to my list. So, we have these two pieces down, and then I have this piece which is going to add to this pocket. However, I want to put my design paper down first, so I'm not going to add it just yet. And I'm also thinking I might want to cut it a little bit shorter here, so I have that option when I get to that point. What it is a 12-inch piece that's going to attach here at the bottom, and then it will open and expand like that. So I need a way to secure it or close it. I don't want to use another magnet because I have magnets in here. Don't want to use a ribbon because I don't want a bow or a knot making more bulk because this spine's only a 1/2 inch. So I have to decide what my closure is going to be, and I'm not sure what that is just yet. So I'm going to put a paper clip on this for now, and I'm going to put this folder in here to keep that from flapping open as I work. I don't know that I'll use that in the final project, but at least it'll hold it closed for now. Okay, panel 2 is the same as what they had in their video, and I'll put a link in the description box for you. I've got so many pieces cut out here. Okay, first thing, we need to make our little folders. So this is, I think goes with that. I think this is a scrap. I'm not sure. That's a folder. This goes with this. This goes with this. Okay, and this goes with this. Alright, we're good. Alright, we have 2 small folders and 2 large folders that we're making. Okay, oh goodness. Let me pull up my sheet here. Oh, I don't have it typed up yet. What did I do with my, oh, here's my little note piece. I haven't typed it up yet. Okay. You have 2 pieces that are 7 1/4 by 8 5/8. That would be this piece. 7 1/4 by 8 5/8, and I crimped my corner. So I will put my pocket down here, and that will cover that. Actually, it has to go this way. That will be no, I'm going to do it this way so I can get rid of that. This will be our pocket. So you have the 7 1/4 by 8 5/8, and then you have 6 1/4 by 9 5/8. So on this piece, we're going to score 3 sides. one long side and both short sides at a half. Make sure you don't overlap down here so you don't have all that extra bulk. And we're going to add some glue. And we're going to make pockets with these. This is the measurements from the original video. I'm not sure. I think Tammy probably did hers the same, but I'm not positive. So we're going to match up our top corners in this side. And then we're going to go around to this corner and match it as well, so that we have a pocket. Match it all the way down. Oh, it's off over here a little. That's why this side is protruding on me. Didn't have the other side squared up right. Now I've got glue all over my fingers. Alright, and that goes like that. So let's burnish this down. Alright, and the small pocket, we have two of these. We might as well go ahead and make the other big one while we're at it. And I have them scored. We just have to, oh goodness, have score tape on those scissors. Trim out these corners and the top. These are good size pockets. Let's burnish these. I just don't have enough space here, so what's wrong with it? That's alright. I mean, I could keep moving this and putting it back, but it's kind of a pain too. So there's this one, and we're going to attach it the same way. Match up our top corners and stick them down. Looks like it's off just a hair. Push it in there. Okay. Let's lay that aside. Then we have two of the smaller pockets. Now these are tall and narrow, and that these two pieces measure 4 1/4 by 7 1/4, which is this one. No, it's this one. And 5 1/4 by 6 3/4, I think. Yeah. And just like the other one, it's going to attach right up at the top. Now if you want to notch these, you can. I didn't, because I want to keep it to where anybody and everybody can make it exactly like I am, because everybody doesn't have punches and dies and stuff, especially if you're just starting out and you haven't accumulated a lot of supplies and things. I want you to be able to make exactly what you see without having to go out and buy a bunch of stuff. And as time goes on, you'll be like those of us that have crafted for years, and you'll have more stuff than you know what to do with. Okay, let's get our corners matched up here. All the way down. Okay, there's that one. And one more narrow pocket to go. And let me trim this one out. Get our corners done. And we'll burnish these. And add them together. It's really nice weather in Texas the last couple days, but they tell us it's going to turn cold and a lot of rain for the weekend, so I've got plenty in the craft room to keep me busy, so it won't bother me. But it's always changing here. Nothing lasts for very long. But I'm sure it's like that in a lot of areas. Okay. There we go. Now, let me move this out of the way for a sec. We need to score these so that we can attach them. So let's put it in our scoreboard. Where's my little scoring tool? It disappeared. Well, well, well. Oh, there it is. It's not the one I was looking for, but it's one. Okay, so we're going to put it in the scoreboard, and we're going to go, I don't want to go too far beyond the edge, so we'll move it up to where we're right close to that folded edge and score that so that we can tuck it under and burnish it. There's that one. And we're going to do that to all four of these. And if you move it where this folded area touches one of these pieces that protrudes out, then you should be perfectly lined up to score right below that. There's that one. One more. Okay. Now we can put them in our book. Okay, bringing the book back. We're going to start with one of the larger ones, and you're going to eyeball it. You're going to have a little extra at the top and the bottom, and you want to take it almost to the score line, but you want to leave enough so that when it bends, you're not going to get into that. So just kind of gauge yourself like that. So let's put some glue on this. And actually, I want to trim a little off these edges just to be safe. Make sure I don't have any overhang there. It's quite an ample piece to turn under. Usually we do a 1/2 inch and this is more like 1 inch, but it's okay with me. Okay, I'm going to lift this up for a second so I can see exactly where my seam is, so I don't get too close. Let me make sure it's even at the top and the bottom. Or thereabouts. Okay. Now, this next one will stack on top, but these two are going to be in between it. So we want to line these up on the back. Make sure they're going to go side to side. Now, let's make a little mark in between these two. Okay. So on this one, where that mark is, we're going to cut up to the fold line. And then we're just going to angle cut it. So those two small ones will turn independently. And we're going to trim this off. And trim this off. Now, let's trim these as well. Get my trash to fall over here to the side instead of on my project. Okay, oops. Thought it was going to fall on my foot. I sure don't want them poking a hole in my foot. Okay, so these are going to stack right on top of that, like this. And you can see they're pretty much side by side. So we're going to put our glue down on this one. And let me turn it a little bit so I can make sure I'm in line here. Make sure that one's going to line up. Okay. Now let's glue this one down. Same way. Now if you need, you might want just a hair of a gap between those two to allow for the gap in the next page that's going to sit on top of it. Alright. Now this is going to glue right on top of it. And that'll be our next pocket. It's important that it lay right on top. Make sure all your edges match. It looks pretty good. Hey, it worked fine. And then these two will turn by themselves. And this one. Okay. Now I did cut, let me see how this is going to close. Okay, we've still got enough room for another piece that I closed, or that I cut. Let me get this to stay in here where I want it for now. Okay, I cut this little pouch, and it is it is 12 by 4 3/4, and it's scored at a 1/2 inch on the long side, and then you will score it on the 12-inch side. You'll score it at 7 1/2, and then we're going to cut from the score line out. We're going to cut that away and then angle cut your corners. However, you might want deeper cuts, more shallow cuts. I cut mine. I measured in from each side 1 inch and up from the edge 1 inch. So 1 inch down, 1 inch over, and then I drew a line and just cut it off. And then I cut a pocket, which is 4 3/4 by 5 1/4. Scored 3 sides, leaving one of the short ends open. And we're going to trim this out just like we did our other pockets. And we will burnish these. And we're going to add this to the bottom. Uh-oh. I got the wrong piece. Haha. I got the wrong piece. See, that wouldn't have been it. Alright, hold on. I'll be right back. I gotta cut another piece. Okay, I cut another piece. Let's move this out of the way. So we have our 3 sides. I had to remeasure it, and it was my mistake. Either that or I cut it wrong. But nonetheless, this is supposed to be 5 1/4 by 5. We're going to score it at 1/2 on one short end and down both long ends at 1/2 to make a pocket. And we'll add our glue. And we'll have a stopper on the front of this to eliminate a magnet. I'm trying to stay away from as many magnets as I can because we have them in the cover. You get too many magnets and they pull on each other, and that's not a good thing. So let's line this up down here at the bottom corner, in this corner. Turn it around where I can see what I'm doing. Get all cattywampus here. Come on, corners. He's not wanting to cooperate with me. There's that one. And there's that one. Okay. Now, whoops, that one's not straight at the bottom. Oh, goodness gracious, Bobby. I keep shifting it for some reason. There we go. That's going to be our pocket. This will be the flap. And then this piece is going to attach . Oop, not there. Getting ahead of myself. It's going to attach on top of this one, like that. And we're just going to kind of ballpark center it between the top and the bottom. And we don't have to trim those because they're not going all the way to the top and bottom where we have to worry about any overhang. So let's get some glue on here. And we're going to put it right along this edge. Kind of center it from top to bottom. Make sure it's lined up with that outside edge. Okay, there's that. So now on panel 2 we have this folder. This one is a large pocket. And here, uh-oh, I must have got glue where it didn't belong. Goodness gracious. I got overzealous there. I'm glad I caught that. Okay. That would have ruined my pocket. There's that one. Then we have these two. And then we have this one. Goes all the way down in. Okay, there's that. So that takes care of panel 2. So let's close that up. And then we're going to go to panel 3. Panel 3 has a piece that is 7.5 by 8 7/8. And I'm going to trim these top edges. And we're just going to add some glue. This one's very simple to put together. And we're going to put it inside this 1.25" score line. And it's going to go almost to the top and the bottom. Just a little bit shy. And make sure that's not in the way of my hinge. Although it looks like it's over a little far from there we go, that looks better. And then we have a piece that is, let's open this out. This one is, I didn't write it on it. This one is 6.5 by 8 7/8. So we want to trim those. And just inside the score line again. It's really hard for me to see it. It's a little close. See if those line up with each other. Yes, they do. Okay. Okay, just making sure it's not going to be obstructed. So let's burnish these two down. So this closes on top. And then this one is going to sit right over here on this edge, like that. And we're just going to ballpark it from top to bottom. And then I gotta take a real quick break here and go check on my dinner. And I'll come down back and we'll put panel 4 together, and then we'll be... Okay, panel 4. We have two pieces, 6 5/8 by 5 and 6 5/8 by 5.5. The 5.5 is going to go down at the bottom, and I have tapered the corners here. And we're going to attach both of these to make a kind of a faux pocket. And it will have bumpers on the side so that we can open it up. I like the ones that are like a policy envelope, but sometimes they have a shallow flap and they're real deep here, and then you have to take your whole hand, and I don't like that. I think they're too deep. So I prefer this one better, but if you like the other kind, you can certainly do that here too. I just think if they're really deep and some of your embellishments are small, it's real hard to get them out of there. So I prefer this way, but you know, we all like different things, so do whatever you like. Because it is your book. Once you make it, you do what you want. Okay. I think I better move this over a little bit. It's not quite centered. There we go. That looks better. And then we'll put this one down at the bottom. We're just going to line it up with that upper one. And to the bottom. And move it over a little bit. Be good right there. Actually, this can come up off the edge just a hair. So let's burnish that down. And this one. And then I have some bumpers that are going to go in here. I'm not going to place them just yet. Not until I get my design paper laid out. But what I have is 2.5 by, I think it was 5. Let me make sure. Yes, 5 by 2.5. And then I scored them at 1 1/4 and a half. And then I did each edge at 3/8 inch. So we're going to fold them down the center like this. Let me get this out of the way here. See how much room's still in there? Plenty. Now we're going to glue these together. And it just make your little bumper stronger. When they're a single thickness, they're kind of, I don't want to say flimsy, but they're just not real sturdy. So we're going to glue these together. Doesn't hurt to make them a little bit stronger, because after you spend the money on all your supplies and go to all the trouble of making a beautiful project, you definitely want it to last. Get my glue off of there. There's that. Okay. Now if you have any little extra edge like I do, that's not going to hurt anything because we're going to cover it with design paper. So let's fold on our 3/8 inch back and forth and burnish that. That will be one of our bumpers. And I am going to round the corner. I think they look better when they have rounded corners. Back and forth till I get them to lay like I want them to. There's that one. Now let me get my cheapo corner rounder. I have the We Are Memory Keepers one too, but I like this one. Okay, so there's one bumper. You have to press a little harder with a double thickness, but it gets it eventually. I'm not the strongest person ever, but okay, and there's the other one. Alright, so now I'm ready to start whittling on my design paper. So I will get some design paper ready and come back and we will start decorating this folio. Alright everyone, I am back. I have finished putting all the design papers on. I just wanted to share that with you before I started embellishing. I will embellish this off camera and finish the front cover. Before you see the tutorial, you will see the final completed walkthrough with all the embellishments and inserts. So I believe you saw this part already. And when you open the front, there will be a little insert here, which I haven't completed yet. And you have room for photos, what have you. All of that under there. Then we had this folder. Flips over. And now these are pockets, and I haven't made inserts for them yet. I think I'm just going to make white. I'm almost out of the paper. I've got a little bit of design paper left, but not enough to really do much with. So that is the back. Gives you a large spread there. These are loose so that you can put a photo up underneath it, or you could journal there. And these are also little pockets. That one there. But I just wanted to share the matting with you so that it would give you some ideas. You may want to use different papers, and that's fine too. Whatever pleases your eye is the way your album should look. And then this is the last of the folders. It doesn't lay as flat as I'd like it to, but after time with it being folded back and forth, it will do better. It is also a pocket. And I just left this open for a large photo. And I will embellish this pocket here. Don't know with what I'm going to do with it yet, but I will. And then on section 3, we have this flap here that has a journaling spot. And I just used some lined paper that I had in my stash and backed it with green cardstock. And because I don't draw very good straight lines. And I used the craft on the back of this for photo mats. Let me make sure I'm in frame. I hope I am. Yeah, that didn't look too bad. We have a large area for photos here. Room for 4 more back here. And this one opens to the right. And we have 3 here and 4 more here. So that makes a huge spread. And that is where on the original they had the clear pocket pages for recipes and stuff. And then on this section, let me fold that up. This is just a kind of a faux pocket. Oops, see, I always get caught. I forgot to embellish that and this. It's a good thing I got a little bit of paper left, but I'll catch that. And then this little folder will go in here, and you have room for plenty of photo mats, what have you. I always leave something, I tell you. Sometimes. Alright, so that's how it's going to look up until it gets embellished. But I will be back. This will be the end of the tutorial. I will be back with the final walkthrough so that you can see what I chose for the embellishments and how I like to put it together. And then you can go from there and create your own. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and be sure you share yours with us. And also don't forget to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up for the like on the video, and share it with your friends. If you know of somebody who likes to make paper products, feel free to share it with them as well. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.